Just kidding, loading. There it is.
There it is. Wait a minute.
Y'all crazy, bitch. R-D-I-V-O-R-C-E. You gotta fight. A brown-eyed girl.
Cause I've still got a lot of fight left.
Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Thank God Cancer Saved Our Divorce.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Cancer.
It did.
Apparently, some people think cancer must be a joke because we're all cancer.
It's out there. It's been said.
So
this week, we're going to do a little bit different of a podcast. We're going to talk about some personal issues. We're going to face some of this
head on.
nonsense head on. I'll tell you what we're not going to do. So, and I'll say this again for the people that don't hear it. Here in the Every Joke Has a Little Truth studio, we're not afraid. I'm not afraid. Are you afraid, Jams?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Nah.
Amanda?
No.
All right. So it's not so much that we're down here to pick a fight, because that's quite the contrary.
I'm always ready to pick a fight.
Jams
Yeah.
is a little more feisty.
We might be ready for a fight anytime someone's down, but
Amanda is also feisty, but I will conduct the train, and we will, well,
What was
probably
was
a
it?
Bad choice of words there.
bad choice there. Sorry about
You're
that.
conducting.
I will conduct
now everything's ruined.
the podcast. Here's the situation, right? Social media has become such a buzzsaw, and a lot of people, I'm looking at a keyboard right in front of me, and that keyboard gives a lot of people strength.
Courage.
Now, I want to also say this, all right? Not everybody's right. And I'll be the first to say it here. We're not always right. I'm closer than the ladies, but like we're not always right. I mean, I've been married a few times.
A couple.
So
Mhm.
I missed a couple of those. But here's the thing. There's always what one person says, what another person says,
And then the truth.
And the
And then
truth
there's the
is somewhere in
truth.
between.
somewhere in the middle. So in our
You lose your train of
no,
thought.
I'm just thinking. I'm thinking because I want to make sure.
Did we tag everybody that needs to be tagged in this?
No.
No, we're not doing it. If people want to watch, they can jump on and watch.
Oh, I just
We're
figured we'd
here.
tag
No,
him.
it's okay. No, there's no sense in tagging anybody. It's all right.
Oh, I'd love to.
Well, so here's why.
Buzzsaw.
Yeah.
Social
well,
media is buzzsaw.
just social media is a buzzsaw. And again, this week there will be no Ams and Jams.
Sorry,
People will
guys.
be super sad.
There won't be any Super Bowl talk. I mean, we'll do a little bit of that maybe. We're not even going to have mail. So, and just FYI, we're on Facebook Live. So we have the ladies are monitoring the chat. So
The
if you have any
comments.
questions, feel free to ask. We'll give as much as we know. Or
We've always
In the comments, can we tag them?
we've always said we're here. Like anytime somebody wants to talk, somebody wants to hear a different side of the story, someone wants to maybe fill in some of the blanks they don't have, we're here. We're not trying to tell anybody what their perspective is, but we know what our story has been. We know what we have seen and witnessed ourselves, and we have no problem talking about it.
yeah. And here's the whole thing. I'll just go ahead and bring it on the screen. So our son, Braden,
And sometimes co-host.
and well, he's never a co-host. We feature Braden on the show.
Every day.
I was trying to give him
Or
a
every
Yeah, let's
every
not get
week.
crazy like he's a big part of the show. When the checks start getting cut, he's not getting one.
Mhm.
That will definitely not be happening. So, I mean, here it is. Why are these people in their basement posting a picture of their son's
Mugshot.
mugshot? This isn't his first mugshot. This is his second mugshot. And
Every mugshot, just let me say, has been bullshit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
so we'll start there. What was the initial charge, Amanda?
I mean, the charge was domestic battery in presence of children under the age of 16.
Right, which is a level 6 felony, right? So, hello, Michelle. Nice to see you. God, it's been years since I've talked. Now you come off for my Facebook drama.
Oh,
Look at
boy.
you. I love Michelle. I was just thinking about her and Nick the other day. She has children that are graduating high school now. And she's had some, I think, that did, right, Michelle? Anyway. So yeah, our baby was in a relationship. It was not a good relationship. It was a toxic relationship, right?
From get-go.
Yeah.
From Jump Street.
And
It was
everybody
horrible.
knew it.
Yeah.
I think
Except
they
for-
knew it.
No,
I
yeah.
knew it. You knew it. Jamie called it from the beginning. And it was toxic. And then guess what happened? 21 years old. God, Michelle. We are old. That's what it's come down to. You
Mhm.
and I and Nick are old.
Denny is definitely old. Michelle, I don't know you. You're probably very lovely. I don't think
She
you're
is a
old,
great
but Denny
person.
is very old.
And her mom loves me. Why wouldn't she? But so they were in this toxic relationship, and it just became worse and worse. And what'd you do?
Nothing.
You know you can't just move around like that.
I know.
We've
It
had
be-
forever to get set.
It became worse over time, and then they had Jet.
Oh,
our
you know what makes
grandson.
a toxic relationship work better
Yeah.
is having children together.
Are you really older than me, Jennifer? I don't think so.
Well, you stop
No.
getting distracted.
I don't think so. I'm talking to the people.
To
They
the
are
people.
talking to us.
She is not.
She's
You're not
older
older.
than me, Jennifer. You are not.
He's 48.
I am the youngest 48.
He might as well be 49.
look at
He's
that,
almost
though.
Here.
Jennifer thinks
8 years younger. That's a
Jennifer
lot.
thinks that 40 is older than me. Thank you, Jennifer. You're now the number one fan of the podcast. Just gonna say that.
Anyway,
Anyway,
So
Go
they
ahead.
had children together.
they had because we all know the best way to save a relationship is to
That was
add
my
children.
line.
Well, you didn't finish it. I gave you a chance.
No, I did.
I did.
Anyway.
Go ahead. I
Nope.
thought you had more to say.
No, I don't.
This is how our podcast usually goes.
They had a baby. Then
They
they
had-
had another baby.
They had two babies, and they
Two
didn't even
babies.
tell us about the second baby until the second baby was
Damn near
Well,
born.
because
Almost
in between first baby and second baby, there was
Some issues.
so many
some marital
problems.
issues. Yeah.
And they were in Hawaii, and things were not good, and we were not supportive of them staying together because they were in a horrible situation.
So
for
I
all
want, I
three
want,
of
I
them.
want to clarify what you just said there. We were supportive of their decision. We just didn't think it was a good idea.
We didn't think it was the right decision.
And when asked, we gave that advice.
like we said, we're not scared.
Yeah. So, that's really, hey, Jennifer, do we sound okay out there? I just want to make sure if you could just chat in and say yes or no. Not that we sound smart, just that we sound okay. So they're in Hawaii. They're far away from friends. They're far away from family. They're young. They have children. I can't think. Thank you, Jennifer. I can't think of a worse scenario than
Yeah.
that.
That's military life for you.
Yeah. You experienced military life. Well,
Mhm.
you moved to Korea. Is that right?
South Korea, yeah.
Tell us about that. a little bit.
South Korea, I mean, it was great to go, but I mean, you feel excluded from what life was, and when you're young and you just,
Thanks, Mike.
it's hard. It's hard, but when you're not,
Thank you, John.
when you're not right for each other, you're not right for each other. And so that's where we're at.
And
So-
you're here to say too that you were not right for the person you were married to the first
exactly.
time.
Yeah. But
You were definitely not right for the second one. I'll just say that right now.
fucking still not right. I don't know why I'm sitting in this fucking basement.
I know.
Oh, that's right, because I love Amanda.
Fake news.
It's not fake news.
I don't know about that.
Anyway, so they, they try to work it out, but my mom always told me once you cut that chain link fence, like every argument, every fight, every big event in your life that happens, and you cut that chain link fence, it never goes back together the same way, right? So
It's
you
true.
can't. A lot of people can't get over the past or
It's like you
forget the
can't
past.
unring the bell.
Exactly.
Almost, yeah.
And so that's what happened. It was time for them to split ways. Braden tried to do it in a very amicable way.
So let's talk about that. And you're right, Nakia. You do cling to that one person because it's all you have.
It's the only
And-
only thing you've known. We're
and
talking
when it's
about
still toxic and it's all you have, it makes it even worse.
And to be clear, we're talking about kids that went from kids in a fun relationship, as kids do, to adults with a family and a child and completely different responsibilities. That is a huge jump for everyone.
Mhm.
And when you've only done that with one person, it's really hard to move on from that. And we know that.
I begged Braden. He'd been in a relationship. I asked him when that relationship ended. I said, "Son, you're young, you're good looking, you're going in the Marines. Like your story's going to be pretty good. And if
Please, for the love of God, don't get a
I said,
girlfriend for the
"Do
next 6
not
months."
get a girlfriend before you leave." I said, you're going to go to places like, that you
He was going to Florida.
no, he was going to California. He was going to be in California.
San Diego.
And
Oh, I meant after. Yeah.
And, I'm like, you will meet somebody and they will, there won't be any preconceived notions about you and any of that. It's just, you'll be there.
Mhm.
And he was like, all right, Dad, just like they always
Always
do.
do.
All right, Dad.
How many times my parents told me not to marry you? Good Lord, wish I would have listened. Sorry, Mom and
Fake
Dad.
news.
Twice for that. 2 times. So then all of a sudden a girl with big boobs starts coming around the house. Right. And
Yeah.
we knew right away
Mhm.
that
It was
we
over.
were in for it.
Yeah.
And Jamie still talks about the infamous bedroom discussion she and I had. Go ahead.
I said, I don't like her. I get a bad feeling from her. He does not need to have anything to do with her. And I said, what can we do? I mean, what can we do? Because it's not okay.
Right. And my response was, at the time, I think I understand the young male mind,
Mhm.
Because you're still a
partially
child.
because I'm still there.
Yeah.
But I told Jamie, I was like, look, if we interfere in this relationship, there will be no saving our relationship with him.
Mhm.
And, she, for one time in her life, she stepped back and let things
The
be.
one time I shouldn't have actually.
Right. You should have. I still blame you for this. So the relationship took off. It was very difficult. And we're not here to really tell that whole story. What I want to talk about are allegations and
And how we've ended up to staring at his mugshot.
yeah, how we impact people's lives through false accusations and how it looks. And here's the other thing we're doing. So if any of you are on this busted newspaper, Howard County, whatever it is, if you're part of this and you've had some shit talking to do, bring it, boys and girls, because we're here to answer your
We're
questions
here. You got questions.
as
we
much
got
as we
answers.
can
Mhm.
and let your fingers walk just as quickly as you want them to. And, if we can't talk about it, we'll tell you we can't talk about it. I
If
don't know
anybody
what there
wants to,
would be.
Tag Kokomo in the know. Or...
Well, I don't want to pick a fight,
Oh, really?
but but
You
look,
sure?
We are on the more picking a fight side. But
I just feel like you can't.
you
Look,
can't unsay. Here's really where, when you put this kind of stuff out on Facebook, and yeah, it's public knowledge, but this is just an accusation. There's been no trial. There's been no evidence, provided from either side. There's been nothing actually substantiated in regards to either of these allegations. And yet on social media, we're able to post this like it is a tried and true fact.
right.
And then people go on and attack him, and people that see him out in public after this are going to say, oh, hey, I saw him on this page, and oh, hey, I
Mhm.
saw him here, and do you know what that
Mhm.
kid over there did? And you have no idea. You have no idea that any of that is true or not.
I think my biggest thing is you can't undo this. Whenever you Google his name, his mugshots pop up. this is what you're putting out for your kids for your kids. For
Well,
you- I mean,
let's keep it more general.
okay, I'm sorry. You put this out there and you're doing it as a fucking game. It's not because you actually think your life is in danger. Because if you did, look, I have known some people whose lives have been in danger. I have helped people whose lives have been in danger. Okay.
So I will say this. I would go visit my mother, my real mom, on, it was supposed to be every other weekend. It usually worked out to be every fourth or fifth. And 100% of those times for a very long time, I would witness her get her ass kicked.
Beat.
Mm-hmm.
And not just a couple smacks. It was blood, and there was real fear. And I grew up in that.
Mhm.
Now, had my dad and mom known that, the
Your
woman who raised
visitation
me,
wouldn't have
that
been
would have
there.
changed. It wouldn't have been every 5 weeks.
Well, I mean, can we talk about
Mike
The-
Raymer said, "In America, it's now guilty until proven innocent."
Man,
Mike,
you are
could not
so
be
right.
so
You
right.
are so right. And that's the
It's
problem with
sickening.
the internet and social media. You nailed it right there, Mike. And I do this myself. I want to be honest, okay? I sometimes will look at a picture and I will say, yeah, that guy's guilty.
Which
Mhm.
Braden doesn't help himself when his picture.
No,
That's-
that silly looking beard.
I know.
I'm going to make him shave it
But
when
let
he
me
gets out.
let me finish what I was saying. So you shit. See, why
No,
do you
she
interrupt
lost
me?
it.
Oh no, I've helped people out of situations like this who are truly
in danger.
in danger, and you have somebody who is doing this to, I don't know, prove a point or get
To
one up.
manipulate the
situ-
system.
yeah, to manipulate the system.
It's being used to further harass him. She is using legal methods to continue her harassment and abuse of him that he got away from finally when he left her a year ago.
Exactly, Nakia. If you actually fear somebody, you literally go no contact. If you were in fear for your life to file a domestic violence case, if you are in fear for your life, you do not call that person. You do not keep texting that person.
You hide.
You hide.
Mhm.
Because it's fear, because it's real. The threat is very real,
Yes.
and the threat is very real for a lot of women out there. And I mean, Denny's got some of the comments up here. Someone said to me, someone we know who said to me, women should support women. I can promise you right now, out in public, anywhere, if I see a woman that needs help, I will step in and help her, no matter who it is, no matter the situation,
Including the subject of this discussion.
including, and we
Yeah.
said that, and that's in this room. I don't know if we had mixed feelings on that, but that was hard to say.
Oh, 100% mixed feelings.
And I 100% support protecting women, and
But when it's
I'm-
true,
I stand with women being abused and that need help and getting them all the resources that they need. But when you have people like this, they are doing nothing but taking away from genuine resources that somebody who won't wake up tomorrow morning
So
needs.
here's what we know, okay? If we just look at everything in a vacuum, we have seen the text messages.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We have been around for all of the communication. And to be fair, raise my hand here. Dad says, hey, don't answer.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what comes across, don't answer.
Mhm.
And then we get, the kids, I just want to see daddy. And, oh, you couldn't answer. So here's a video.
Video of one
and-
of them crying because you didn't answer.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's all taunting.
100%
Braden.
Nakia. Braden would absolutely step in
Yep.
and help
Braden
anyone.
would help anybody, including I'll just say this. The other day we were talking, Braden and I were going somewhere, and we were talking about what if ex-wife got in a relationship with someone that was truly abusive.
Yeah.
And he actually said to me, he said, Dad, I see her doing that, and I see her coming to me for help, and I would bring her in with the kids. I'd probably only give her a week to stay with me, but I
Liar.
would make sure she was okay.
Because
And he
that,
says this.
But I gotta say, I've thought about this. Any one of us would still protect her, despite all this. In that situation,
I wouldn't let anything happen to her. I can't. It's tough when someone has
I'm not
made.
gonna lie.
Well, then don't answer. It's tough when someone goes and makes an absolute mission of ruining your relationship with someone you deeply care about.
Yep.
And last weekend we talked about, or on last week's podcast, we discussed, isolation and how an abuser will isolate someone so that they feel like they
from
don't
all
have
their
anyone
friends
else.
and all their family.
And I'm telling you, that's where we were.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
How many in the last 7 years? I can count at least 5 times that she convinced him that a situation had occurred that hadn't actually occurred that caused him to turn against a member of this family.
Right.
And to try and push us out.
and he thought that his relationship was on the line, so it was his mission to fix it.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, I mean, look, I'm very proud of Braden. I'm
Mhm.
very I'm very proud of Braden. I'm very proud of Garrett in very different ways, but I'm very proud of both of them.
Absolutely.
And I'll say this to anybody. And he served his country.
Mhm.
He's a United States Marine. I wondered if he would pull it off when he went to the Marines, and he did.
I worried.
And he's persevered through everything he's been through, including this so
Mhm.
far. And it's
I was in tears last night.
it's been a rough night for me too.
I was in tears last night. I didn't sleep. The first thing when he called me, all I could say is, I'm so sorry. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry, because there's nothing that we can even do. And, I would feel different if this was something that was legit, or, you know what I mean? Like,
I would
I'm
hold him
not-
accountable.
yeah, I am not
100%.
one
Yep.
that says not my kid.
Yep, I'm not either.
No.
I'm
No,
not
we'll
either.
we'll tell you all day. No, our
Oh,
kids do that.
Yeah,
But when they're not in the wrong, we will fight behind them.
100%.
Well, and here's one of the reasons why we wanted to be on here.
Mhm.
Let's just go down here to Lisa Summers. Wait a
Hi,
minute.
Lisa.
His family swore he would never do anything like that. They even said it on their podcast. She is correct.
We
Yeah,
did.
Lisa,
so
you
I
are
ho- I-
correct.
Thank you for listening.
And I just want you to know, I get where you're coming from. Again, you're somebody on the outside looking in, and,
Well,
And
and
you're
you're a
only-
keyboard
you're-
warrior. I get it. It's
Well,
your thing.
She knows Brianna. They're all family, friends, whatever. But
So support them, but don't bury them.
here's what I'm gonna say. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm sorry if I get us canceled.
Oh God.
I
You
want
have
everybody
You have your clicker to shut it down.
I
please?
want everybody that knows this woman that is making these
Oh
accurate.
God, I
No.
should be pushing your butt. I should
No,
mute you right
wait,
now.
just shut up. I want everybody that knows this girl that's making these accusations to think about their relationship with this person, because I can promise you that at one point in time, you have had a falling out with her because of something.
That is true.
I feel like, does that not go to show the type of person that you're dealing with? At one
And
point,
you might think it's an isolated incident, but start talking to other people,
People.
and you'll realize it's not.
everybody has had it.
There have been, I mean, just recently, she has sent him photos just asking him if he'd like to see what he's missing.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're not making this stuff up.
And-
No.
And for everyone that's saying, well, we've seen the videos and surveillance image, you've seen what she's wanted you to see. You've seen pieces and clips. We have all of the text messages,
And
everything
and
from the
when
day that he
we-
left to now, the stupid stuff, the good, the bad, all of it we have seen. So we're not speaking from just what someone has told
Yeah,
us.
we're not just, and we're also not here. We're not here to talk anonymously. Our little
No.
basement podcast, we're here now. I'll look you in your face and tell you I think you're wrong. And you know what? When it's all said and done, and here's the other part. We've invited all of these folks on the
Mhm.
show to
But you
talk.
know, you want to know the worst part about it is when all this is said and done and Braden is found not guilty.
None
It'll
of them
be
are-
hard to erase it all.
It's
Mhm.
you're not
It'll-
going
it'll
to,
stay
because
the
they're going to
same.
say, "Oh,
Yep.
our
The-
justice system fails again."
The
No.
the court of public opinion has already decided.
Yes.
They decided without anybody having a shred of evidence.
Mhm. Well, and you have people that are out there that believe they've seen this video
Right.
that they haven't, because
Or they don't know any other piece of it.
I've seen,
Yeah,
The
we've seen the
video.
video. Well, you've seen
I have seen it, and I can assure you, I can't wait for it to get to court.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and here's the other thing for those of you, there are some of you that are out there right now that, it may or may not be listening.
Yeah, no, it won't be announced.
No,
They
it
don't put
won't.
acquittals
Nikki,
up
you're
there.
exactly right.
Nope.
They never post the found not guilties.
Nope.
And here's the thing. We've already told our attorney there will be no plea.
No.
Mm-mm.
There will be no plea,
no plea.
And I promise you, I will say this. I'm sorry. I'm very worked up.
I'm
very
shaking
worked
right
up.
now, so
I
don't
know.
feel bad.
We weren't playing petty. Denny.
We are a goddamn podcast about co-parenting.
Parenting.
For the love of God, this is what we talk about: is how to be decent co-parents, to put
Exactly.
your shit aside and be better for the kids.
Yes.
And
Not to tell your kids
we've
that their
stuck
dad
with
doesn't want to be
this.
their best friend anymore. Oh, that was said. That was said.
So let's address what other people are going to say once they get a chance to listen to this and type
They're a little
type their
outburst.
thoughts. So they're going to say, well, if you support it, then why aren't you supporting Mike? Do not encourage her.
Thank you, Mike.
Please. So those people that are going to watch and say, well, if you encourage them to have a healthy co-parenting relationship, then why do you come on your podcast and tease? Well,
Okay.
let me just say
Well,
this.
first off,
I make fun of Amanda daily. I make fun of
Minutely.
Jamie
Is that a
That's
word?
because you like to
Minutely.
live-
double.
you like to live on the edge.
He does. Of
it's-
death.
I just look, we make fun.
We make fun because that's how we get through it.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, we're getting there, Deb. Hold on.
So let me go back to when what was I saying before that when you interrupted me?
we were
rudely?
talking about having a healthy co-parenting relationship.
Well, before we obviously support that, but you can't co-parent with a narcissist.
You can't co-parent when one person's version of co-parenting is do everything that I
would
want.
I would say that people think I'm a narcissist.
Well,
Thank you, John. I
look,
agree.
look,
Alf, I also agree with you.
until anybody in anywhere is a clinical psychologist, you can't throw that term around. You have to have a diagnosis for that.
okay,
So let's just talk about, you cannot,
okay.
George should order it. It's just the prosecutor. We'll get to that, Deb. Hold on.
Well, the judge orders that there's probable cause.
Yeah, I will tell you what the probable cause was. The probable cause was because she had a phone in
She-
his face recording,
And she made an accusation.
and she made an accusation.
Mm-hmm.
Her false statement was it was not his day to pick up the kids. When since May, when he left, their schedule was Tuesday, Wednesday, he picked the kids up from daycare, and every other weekend. She told
And if you're unsure of how we know that for a fact, he was living here
yes,
during that time.
I wasn't, but he was.
I lived here too.
Yeah.
I hadn't moved out.
Then the day he goes to pick up the kids, she changed her mind, like she has on everything,
She showed up at the daycare.
at the daycare and tried to unbuckle the kids
Well, let's
out
hold
of their
on.
cars. No,
Let's back up from there. She'd asked for money.
she'd asked for money.
She'd asked
He
for
said
money,
no.
and she had enrolled Jet in preschool without talking to him about it beforehand, and wanted
Big
his
boy
birth
school.
certificate.
Yes. He said no. So she decided that she was taking his day. Shows up to make a scene at the daycare trying to unbuckle the kids while they were already buckled in
Braden's
his
van.
vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which, in case
And
anybody
he was there to
doesn't
pick
know,
them up
that is
because it was his day.
that is
And he had
personal
dropped them
property.
off. They had it isn't like this decision was made on the fly. This was planned and planned and planned. And it just look, Deb, I'm
What
not afraid
messages?
of messages. I'm sure you've got some, and I've seen them too. It's not flattering for either of them. The things that are said, I
Mhm.
don't dispute
Oh,
that part, that the things that they're saying to one another are not flattering. They're both stupid.
but you
when it
can't
comes to
tell
that.
me that wasn't
But
how
that's
it
not
was.
enough. That's not enough to get him arrested.
The mother cannot just decide that it's not your day anymore. No, they didn't have a court order yet because they hadn't gone to court for the order.
By the way, this was 2 weeks prior to their court date.
So they were going by what they had agreed upon. Every time she gets mad, you want fucking receipts? Well, we got a lot of them. We got a lot of them. Okay. Every time she gets mad, she takes away another day or she changes something.
Oh, you don't want to do what I said to do. Okay, now you don't get to see your children on this
Yes.
day.
And all he wants is to be a father. They did have a court. No, they didn't.
So they had an agreement.
They have an agreement.
They
They,
had
don't
an
have
They
a
have
court
an
order.
agreement, but
They
they
had
weren't.
an
It was
agreement.
not
And their-
filed in court
And
yet.
their agreement was Wednesday and every other weekend, except for when the parties agree. And since from May to August, the parties agreed that he had them Tuesday night and Wednesday
Yeah,
until
but
he
this
took
was
them
a
back to
special
her
week
house.
anyway. There was an agreement that he had them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday that week.
Yeah, they had flipped for Monday.
They had done
and she was
something
taking
extra.
Wednesday. But we have text messages from Tuesday where she's stating, yes, you're picking the boys up from daycare still. It was signed by
Well,
okay,
it's an
but
agreement.
it's an
Yeah.
agreement that they
I
came
mean,
from.
we
They
can
haven't
call it
had
a court
trial.
order, but they were there.
But again, it still states that it's Wednesday and every other weekend and days as the parties agree, which Tuesday was an agreed upon day and had been since May.
Alf, you're exactly right. You don't have to be quiet. It's probable cause. By the way, Alf is a former police officer, so he would be able to talk on the. Yeah, Deb, you don't have to be here.
Yeah, I
either.
mean, you're
Like,
the one that's on here.
Here's the thing: we are.
You clicked on our face.
So many people have gone on and they've said some really shitty things about my son, and
Our son.
instead of, and I'm looking in the camera now. I'm looking at you. I'm not going to just allow. I'm not going to argue anymore via the comments. I'm just not going to do it because it gets me worked up for nothing.
Thanks, girls.
And I would much rather be right here looking at you and answering the questions as they come up. Now, again, I'm going to say it to you and everybody else that's listening. Do I think he's perfect?
Nope.
Do not.
Nope.
Do I think he's an idiot? I
Yep.
do. He does some dumb shit. But up to and including what got him in this time, which was responding to a text message. Hey, can we talk? He said, can we talk? She
No,
said
let's
yes.
talk about let's run down. Oh yes, we do nothing but
We don't do anything but harass. Deb.
Okay.
You're right.
So let's talk about the steps leading
so.
up.
Hold on. I believe that
Absolutely,
I do
Cassie.
protect
fucking
my-
thank you.
I say what I want,
Mhm.
but I'm going to protect Braden. I'm going to try and be as fair and balanced as I can, but it's okay, Deb. They have, he's got abusive text messages from her too. I'm not disputing that,
So look,
he hasn't typed some awful shit. But I'll tell you this, I've also seen my son with a giant lip.
Yep.
A giant lip.
And scratches down his face.
And I've
Scratches on his neck.
Yep. So, I mean, it happens. I had to talk to my son on the phone while, he's babysitting his own kids while his wife's on a date. I mean,
Mhm.
I had to talk to my son while
Not babysit, taking care of his kids while his wife
I
is
was
on
calling
a
it
date.
babysit to be funny.
Yes.
But there was, while he was in the field,
Well, he was in
the
Australia.
Marines,
That's
some
called
of his-
defense.
some of his buddies.
So it's okay when women do it because that's defense. Are you fucking serious
Well,
right now?
she's going to say that he started it. She's
Anyway,
defending herself.
it doesn't matter. Moving on.
So, but anyway, that's why we're doing this, because I don't want to be a keyboard warrior and just say it without, I don't want
Answering
anything
questions.
what I say to be lost in translation. Here's what's happening right now. My son is sitting in a jail cell over something stupid right this minute. He's not going to see his kids this weekend. He's not going to see the Super Bowl this weekend. He's
Fake news.
Yeah. So am I upset about it? You're exactly right. I am. But the three of us got together. How can we still honor him? How can we, try and turn this into a positive? Hey, let's get out here and yeah, Deb, Super Bowl. Look, if we do enjoy the Super Bowl, we have things that we like to do besides pester other
Mike, I
people.
wish both went to jail. Maybe people would think twice about just throwing it out there.
Well, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
But it's there have to be hands on both. So-
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. There was no domestic violence, so we will fight that out in court. And when we end up on top, I hope that somebody has apologies ready. They won't, but that's okay. Leading up to where he is at today, a friend of Braden's asked him to go have drinks. He said, where? She said, Cook's. He said, I don't know. But he knew it was Monday and she should have been with the kids, because in Indiana state parenting guidelines, if the parent with the children have to work, they have to call the other parent to watch them, not a babysitter. Okay.
You have to offer it first to the other parent.
Yes.
And shouldn't it be that way?
Yes, it
It
should.
should.
I mean, and if you know that you work on Mondays,
Then give
is
them
that
Mondays.
a deal where you text at 3 p.m. and say, "Hey, you want your kids tonight?" Or is it a deal where you
How about every Monday you have the kids?
you just, "Hey, I work Mondays. Kids are going to be with you."
Yeah.
Right? Wouldn't that make sense?
Mhm.
Well,
And if you had the kids, then you would know, okay, can't go to this establishment.
So she's supposed to have the kids. So he goes to Cook's, finds out that she's there. He says, "What are you doing there? What are you doing here?" Well, he's confused because where are the boys? I don't have the boys. You don't have the boys. What's going on? I would have never come in here had I known you would be here, but I didn't think you'd be here because guess
All right,
what?
hold on. She's worked every Monday since last March.
hey,
Yeah,
thank you
and-
for that, Deb.
Yeah,
Good to
thank
know.
you for that. Well, we'll keep that for the records, because guess how many times he's been asked to keep the kids
They're
on
they're
Monday?
home with family. You mean the minor sister,
No, he-
which
he-
is
he
which is
can
a
go-
babysitter,
Deb, he can go to Cook's.
He can
and it's not it's a no contact order unless
no
it's
contact with
regards
her.
to unless it's in regards
and
to
he
their
can-
children.
And the judge,
let me guess.
as
Is he
you
supposed to
say-
say in his home?
the judge, as you say, ordered that he could talk to her in relationship to the children.
She
which is
actually
what this was.
requested the no contact order be amended.
Yes, she requested because she's so afraid for her life. Anyway, so he leaves right away. He tells the
His
friend
friend.
he's with, "I got to pay for your beer. We got to go."
So they left and
Did
they
you
went
lose
to a
your?
different
Oh, you're.
bar.
No,
I was
I'm
like, what are
reading.
you
Don't
looking at?
read. You got to
Sorry.
pay attention to what
so
you're doing.
I'm
Crazy
sorry.
nut.
Shut up. So they leave and they go to another, or they leave, and he texts and says, "Can I talk to you about
Can
the
we talk?
kids?" She said, "Yeah, come on in. Come on in. Holy shit, come on in."
And when he
Mhm.
gets there, he says, "Ken, is there somewhere we can sit down?" She leads him to a booth where she's recording the entire conversation, where he
She
asks
does have
about,
the entire.
"Do you work on Mondays?" Yes. Okay. Can I have the kids on Mondays? Yes. Okay. Cool. Get the fuck out. I mean, that was the conversation. So, A, is that about the children? Yep.
Yes.
And B, did she agree to him coming there to talk to her? Yes. Also, all documented. So, without
It does break the no contact order, Alf. And
It
that's why
does.
he's in jail.
Absolutely. It
That's why
does.
he's in
It was
jail.
stupid.
And it's stupid. This is where we're real people, right? He's an idiot. He should have never went
he
inside.
should have known that she's
But
baiting
he
her.
thought that it was
But
okay.
she's baiting
He
him.
felt like it was safe because she said, "Yeah, come on in."
And let's be clear, they have been talking damn near nonstop.
Oh, I think what
Yeah.
you're saying is she violated the contact order, right, Alf?
The thing is if this was a real domestic violence case, and if any of my friends are on here that have been physically abused, you know who you are. If they said, if that
If they
person
said,
showed
"Hey,
up at
can
your
we
work, can we talk? Would
No.
you do it?
No, you're
Would
going
you-
in the back
No.
and getting help.
You're calling the police, and you don't wait 11 fucking days to put it out there because you're pissed off because he won't give you something that you want. That's what it all boils down to. And I'm sorry.
100%. She lured him back inside and set him up. She knew exactly what she was going to do with that, and she waited until she had a reason to.
Well, and then the idea was, hey, it's she said you could have them. You can have them on Mondays.
She agreed that for him to get them on Mondays.
Yeah.
And then text him a day or two later. I'd have to look at the date because I do have that screenshot that says, "No, just kidding. You're not going to get the kids on Mondays. I changed my mind because I wasn't going to argue while at work."
Yeah, you're exactly right, Alf, and that's what the attorney said today. And this is why he texted her that he wanted to talk. She
About
said,
the
"Come in."
children.
Yeah.
She said, "Come in."
She told
really,
him to come there to talk to her.
that,
Yep.
that
she
was
did
the plan.
not feel fear for her life. And
When he says, "Can
if
you
there
talk?"
was a
she has
police
the option to
officer
say
in
no.
that bar,
Yep.
and she said he has a no contact order, but he's coming back in, he wouldn't have been able to leave that bar. But she didn't tell anybody. She didn't tell anybody.
No, she didn't file the claim until he filed a show cause motion against her for why are the children being left at home with a babysitter continuously.
Because the next day, the very next day,
Yep, Wednesday.
she texted him and said, change my mind.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going with you on Mondays.
Nope.
Okay. And then that's when he went to his attorney and he had the stuff sent.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, show cause. If you're at work, why doesn't the father have them?
Mm-hmm.
Well, lo and behold.
Oh, show cause. Why is that a show cause? Because they're not allowed to, they shouldn't be with a babysitter when one parent is working, correct?
Yes.
Is that
so,
what it is?
Deb, you seem to have the inside track. So let me just ask you a question. Why weren't the boys with Braden on Monday?
Or every Monday, since you said she works
Since
every
March,
single Monday.
Why didn't Braden have the boys on Monday?
Mm-hmm. Or
I think that's a real question. And again,
Wait a second. Okay, just kidding.
yeah,
Trying to catch up on reading because I wasn't looking at it for a second.
well, it's all right. Look,
It-
this is trial and error. We're almost having like a full-on
Mhm.
kangaroo court on Facebook. It's
I
kind of
just-
fun.
and
actually.
you know, I think my biggest thing is I can't stand the gameplay, you know, because here the boys have thought all week that they're going with daddy this weekend. They're going with daddy this weekend. And because he files this show cause because he doesn't have the boys and she changed her mind again that he can't have them on Monday, then she plays this card and now they can't see their dad this weekend and he's stuck
They
in
won't see him
there.
another for 2 weeks.
No, Braden hasn't known her.
Well, let's say that he does know her schedule, that she works on Mondays.
Mhm. Yeah, no, he
Deb-
doesn't work Monday at the bar. Actually, I know that for a fact.
No, he
because
doesn't. You
I-
guys work together.
Yeah.
He
I
doesn't-
work
he hasn't-
together. He
hasn't
works
worked-
every
he's
Tuesday.
he's never worked Mondays.
No, he works
So-
every Tuesday and Thursdays when he doesn't have the boys.
Mhm.
There for a while, she was allowing him to pick them up on Thursdays, so he stopped working on Thursdays. He never works Mondays at the bar.
He never has.
Never. I work with him. I know his schedule. I will screenshot every fucking schedule from the last month, 2 months, 3 months, and tell you he does not work on a Monday.
And
Yeah.
no, he doesn't know her schedule. He doesn't give a fuck what her schedule is.
There's no show cause.
She
No.
filed it the day after it happened.
No, it didn't.
No,
No.
she didn't.
Yeah.
Go on my case, honey.
Yeah, it's
It
in
says
there,
the
Deb.
day it was filed. January 23rd is the day it happened.
Right.
11 days after that, it was filed.
Yeah.
And
So I just think this is what I'm saying. There's
because he wants his
he
kids.
wants his kids, Deb.
what
That's
do you
the thing.
know?
I
It's
said he doesn't
Monday.
care what her schedule is.
He doesn't
just
care
wants
her
the
He doesn't.
kids.
He doesn't
He
care
should
what
have
she's
his
doing.
kids.
He
That's the
wants the
thing.
boys, and if
Yeah.
she's at work, there's no reason for
He
them to
shouldn't have
not be
them.
with him.
Yeah.
And again, we're not saying that everything he does is right. We're not saying all of his communication is right.
I'm saying he shouldn't be sitting in a jail cell.
He
for
shouldn't be
this.
sitting in jail right now. If you listen to last week's podcast, which I'm happy to point out most of these people do, you'll hear Braden chokes up even just talking about the
Oh,
kids.
Reading them a goddamn book.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I made fun of him, but
Because we
I
have
made fun
to.
of him because I've lived the same way. I've lived the exact same way. So Brianna's almost.
Also has, huh?
Oh,
Because you get.
Well-
She is worried about when he's working at the bar, but that's why it's not
with
reciprocated.
you or Bailey, you're mistaken because
Never to
I
work.
work
Never to work.
there too.
Yeah, Bailey has had him.
Bailey
What-
has had him.
Yep, for a 2-hour period
Yeah.
while we podcast. She has. So
And no, we've got 4 kids of our own. They're not staying here while he's working at the bar.
Yeah,
Cassie,
you
is
do.
it Cassie or Casey?
It's Cassie.
Cassie, you are exactly right. There are men out there that don't want to have anything to do with their child,
Mm-hmm.
and and they're almost given a pass.
Mm-hmm.
Braxton,
Mm-hmm.
that piece of shit, has never had a thing to do with him, and the only time he talks about threatening to see him is when he
When he
starts
has to
talking
pay.
about money.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Which I don't want his money. We don't need it. But you've got Braden who would let them live with him and still pay child support.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Mine are being, Nakia's children are being adopted because their dad got picked up for not paying his child support. And, all he wanted was out of having to pay the child support. How sad is that?
yeah. Michelle, thank you. It is, man. I'm telling
Hey,
you.
Deb, guess what? She texts him all the time and asks him that, but he can't always take them. He does have a fucking job.
So I guess that's what I'm saying. I guess that's what I'm saying. And Deb, kudos to you. You're standing in.
Yeah.
Kudos to you for real.
She
We've
offers
asked-
extra time at a cost. Everything comes at a cost with that woman.
Also, it's extra time. Hey, can you take them now? Not anything that's able to be planned.
This is not before I.
No, he's not- he's
this
not
is not
worked.
before I started.
Deb, he's not worked while he's had the kids.
Never. No.
He
I mean,
hasn't.
one time. There was one time.
Okay, I stand corrected. It's not a normal thing. Thank you, John. You're exactly right. All dads are not second-class citizens. And the good news is I actually tried to get a hold of Nathan from across the pond to have him on tonight. Dad's Advocates.
He was
When he's watching. I'm
busy
gonna-
doing.
So I want to
Oh,
say
yeah,
this
you've got
real
your
quick.
thing.
So Nathan, damn it, my Instagram, I didn't get your message. So
Oh no! we
sorry,
missed
I
one?
don't want you to think that I've been ignoring you. But
Nakia,
we were
yes.
going to have David or Nathan on. So, but weren't able to get to him.
Wait, Deb. I'm sorry. What? You were doing what? You were sitting in the bar on FaceTime with Brianna watching Braden work and she did not have the kids? Well, that's funny, Deb. Is that not invasion of privacy? Is that not stalking?
So are you the one that called him in the middle of the night?
and they
when
do-
she
and
was
they-
drunk or
There's a
Hold
no
on.
contact
Hold
order.
on. Whoa. Time out. Because the one thing that I want to point out that was said, is he doesn't always want his kids. We do offer them, and they do.
Stalking
And,
much. Yeah.
and
this-
that's why I had pointed out that you can't just say at 3:00, "Hey, I work on Mondays. Can I have them?" Because the last time it was asked with very short notice,
It's
because
funny.
he wasn't given, he'd already plans for work to be, I think, in Michigan, maybe Ohio the next day. So he couldn't. So, there are going to be that. I'm just,
Well, if you're talking about the one time you were in the bar, you
Again,
should have
there
seen
was-
me
There
was
was
one
one
ti-
night
because
that
I
she-
worked the
that-
same night. I worked
Yeah,
the same
it was.
night.
It was around holidays, wasn't it?
It was a Halloween, I think, right? I believe it was Halloween.
or Thanksgiving.
One of the yes, it was Black
is
Thursday,
this a Wednesday?
Blackout Wednesday,
Black
or
Wednesday.
Blackout Wednesday. or
What
something.
day is, what do we celebrate on Black Wednesday?
Shut the fuck up! It was Blackout Wednesday.
Jams, what are we
Anyway,
doing there?
We didn't have enough servers, and he did get a babysitter for that night. And as soon as he could, he left there and went home. He came in as late as he could and left as soon as he could. And yes, Bailey did have him that one time.
So, I mean, yeah, Deb, we'll stand corrected. If
let's
he
also-
didn't offer, but you're saying that it's every Monday.
And he did
versus
it one
this
time.
One time. So would you say she does have to call him? And if he didn't call her, then shame on him. But 1 versus 100, is it the same? And I'll ask this: is Braden a bad father? If you have anything to say besides no to that,
Then you don't know.
then you don't know shit.
Oh, that man is
So-
one of the best fathers I've ever met.
I did him well.
No, Nakia, you're absolutely right. You should be able to have your stepchildren. Yeah, there's no reason for that.
Also, Deb, she also offers for him to only take one child, and it's the same child every time. She wants him to take one child while she keeps the other one. And he's not willing to split up or have a parent think that one child is more important than the other one.
Deb, why this matters, and anyone else, why this matters is because it's what started the whole thing. He's supposed to have the opportunity to have them.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes into Cook's. He sees her there. He says it's Monday. And yes, you're exactly right, Cassie. It should be.
One-on-one time
No.
with parenting
No.
is good in It can be.
No, you don't
but
send
that's
one
but
kid
that's
away.
not one kid going
That's
to one
not
parent,
okay.
and it's
It's
the
not okay.
same, and it's the same kid. It's not one-on-one time with each kid.
But
Yeah.
still, oh, you get to go with daddy, but you don't.
Yeah, both kids go. That's
You're right,
and
Brittany.
if you
That
wanna-
man is an amazing
If
father.
you want to be mad at somebody on that, he's taking my advice because
you don't take one.
You can't just roll up and say, "All right, buddy, catch you next time."
Listen, I walk in this
Mhm.
house to Denny's house, my ex-husband and his new wife, my best friend. She has 3 kids that aren't technically mine.
Only one of them is mine, and it's the second one.
Hey, Deb, we've also seen Jet cry that he doesn't want to go back to her as well. That's what
Yeah.
kids do when their
Yeah.
parents are fucking fighting the entire time. And that's why this nonsense all needs to end.
Yeah, that's what we
Yeah,
think that needs
But
to
you know,
happen.
the difference between kids saying daddy's mean is because daddy has rules. And
And
We've gone
let's
through
be
that-
honest, the age that Jet is at is the age where children start to feel empathy. So when
Mhm.
he realizes that Brianna is mad that he had fun with daddy, he's not going to let her know that he had fun with daddy. This is the age that Jet is developing that. That is normal for children. Look it up. That's also why it's only being experienced with one, not the other.
But back to the why you don't take one kid is because I walk in this house and if I pick up Isabel, Piper's giving me a dirty look. If I'm picking up Piper, Isabel's giving me a dirty look. I can't leave this house if all the kids are here and only take one of them.
Yet you never take them all.
Yeah, what's
Where
up
do
with
we
that?
get to in our relationship that you take the
When's-
kids
When
with
what's
you?
your parenting time?
Can
Well-
we establish that now?
Listen.
Is that something we can do?
So, but no, how many times have I come to pick up Audrey and Isabel's just cried to go home with me? So I
Every
take
time
her.
you come to look at the car, look in the car, and Piper's trying to unbuckle herself.
I know. So that you don't do that to children because then they feel left out.
And they don't understand, especially when it's their parents.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm called mommy. Yes.
God, God.
Those girls love me, but
100%, Deb. It is pressure on kids. It's pressure on kids to try and make the other parent happy. And
it's sad. You know, our
they
daughter
shouldn't be feeling any piece of that.
was diagnosed with cancer when she was 3 years old. And it was so hard to drop her off and walk out of the house while she cried for me to come with me. But I have to remember that a child wants what they can't have in that moment, right? Because the moment I would say, okay, Denny would say, no, look, just take her home. You know, so I would take her home. We'd get in the car. She's crying for Denny
hmm
because she just wants it to,
And they don't understand. They're
They don't
too young to
understand.
understand. But when they start to develop empathy, they can start to feel, well, if I say this, it makes mommy upset. So I'm not going to say that. I'm going to go the other way. I don't want mommy to be upset. And I know when I say these bad things about daddy, it makes mommy happy.
well, you know, when Audrey says daddy's dumb, I do really get a big smile on my face.
I've got something over here that
Okay,
I
go
can play
ahead.
Daddy's the Best. Do you want that again?
No, just
So, and once again, Deb, we don't disagree. Grandparent time is important, and I think it's good that if Brianna's doing some sort of, you know, mommy and Jet and Mavi and Mav date, then
Mommy and Mav.
I'm all about it. They should, and that should be time that they spend with the grandparents or whatnot. But
But it shouldn't
to
be.
send
It shouldn't
daddy
be
home
Mav and daddy
overnight.
and Jet and mommy all the time.
and you know, and that
Mhm.
should change. There should be some, but really, that should be for her to deal with her family, and for us to deal with his. Like if Braden wants to split up and say, "Hey, I'm going to go take, you know, I'm
gonna
going to go
Mav
take
or
this
Jet or
time,"
whoever.
then hey, you know, we work this out. I don't know. It's just those are things that families will work out. I don't think that needs to be something that they're worried with yet. Now, here's the crazy thing.
Especially at the beginning stages of a divorce.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
their
do a
entire lives
podcast
have been
together right
thrown
now.
apart.
We do a podcast together right now, but I can tell you, in
that's you hitting
2017,
your mic.
I did hit the mic. In 2017, it was not like this between Jamie and I.
Oh no.
It wasn't too far off of this,
It
if
was-
we're
it
being
was
honest.
just a little bit better than what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, whoa, man. Okay, you're
The
right.
epitome.
She's right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I said a little bit better.
Smidge.
But you know the difference between all of us, and I think that
well, I
we
mean,
could.
Deb, you're blowing my mind as well. And, I agree. Hey, congratulations that you're a psych major and you specialize in children. I specialize in being a father.
Hey, I specialize in mental illness,
Boy, do you.
and let me tell you,
Boy, do you. But
That's what you're trying to say is that he's denying her, so she has to use her parents. No, he should have his own one-on-one time, and she should have her own one-on-one time.
yeah, so it's funny because
I wanted to fight
Nakia-
Amanda.
and
at the
look what you
football game.
raised. All right, everybody
Nakia,
stop
we
what you're saying right
still-
now. Everybody
Okay.
be quiet 1 second. Deb, I'm just going to say it. You can fuck right off.
Yeah, you sure can.
I am very proud. Like I said, I'm looking
And
right at you.
Look what I
I'm
raised.
very proud of my son Braden. I'm very proud of my son Garrett. I'm very proud of my son Braxton. I didn't create him.
He's not proud of his daughters.
I'm very, very, very proud of my daughter Audrey, who is the inspiration in the podcast. I'm
Mhm.
very proud of Isabel, and I'm very proud of Piper. I raise each one of them the same way.
Mhm.
So, you want to have an opinion, and you
Have an
can
opinion.
you can have an opinion. You can say what you want, but if you're going to trash him on here about
Then
something
fuck
like
right
that,
off. I'll
you can
repeat it.
fuck right off. So, I'll be as friendly or as not friendly, and that's the way it is. So
Okay, Stan.
I don't need you.
Brittany, don't take his side.
I don't need anybody else. But here's what it is: we're on here right now, and we're saying, "Hey, this is our family.
Thank you,
You're
Heather.
not going to keep coming after him. And if you want to put your big boy pants on and come talk, come talk. If you
Mhm.
want to go find Chris Sutton and bring him in and let him have an opinion,
Let him.
I've invited him on the podcast multiple times. He's too good for it.
But I would tell you one thing: we raised some damn good kids.
We did, and part of it is because of this relationship. Do you know when?
100%.
If everybody on here would like to know when our relationship really took a turn, our relationship. He'll be cold for tonight, but it's probably a good time you're going to leave because now you know that you're beat. So
Yeah.
they're
Oh, have
calling
a good
reinforcements.
night.
So here's the rest of it. All right, we didn't get along, and the turning point. Actually, we have Debbie to thank because there was a time when
Oh,
everybody was
yeah.
home.
Yeah,
and-
we had Brianna's mom to thank, Debbie.
Yep, they
Yeah.
were here and they were fighting, and I
Mhm.
stood up for him.
Mhm.
And I was trying to keep the peace. Wasn't working out.
Specifically, she wanted him to come back there so she could continue to fight with him. And we said, no, you guys need to cool off and stay apart for a minute.
Mhm.
He's going to stay here. Brianna, stay there. You guys can work it out in the morning.
And lo and behold, I think we get
Mark-
things worked
Mark
out.
calls.
And
Her dad
father,
calls,
Brianna's
and you
father and
guys
I
work it out
talk, and I
together.
feel like we have a good conversation, and we're moving in the right direction. And not a few minutes later, I get Jamie calling me, and I'm like, "Oh, great!"
And let me tell you, at this time, we don't get along.
Her name in my phone at the time was Junt.
Yeah, Junt for cunt, Jamie.
Hey!
We are on Facebook.
Facebook.
I mean,
Facebook.
we have had some fuck
Well,
yous.
but
Listen,
the
so-
C word really.
So anyway, we hated each other, right?
We hated each
I
other.
hated
Yeah,
Amanda.
yeah, that call wasn't
Despised-
coming for no reason.
And she called
Amanda
and
was not
she's-
allowed to be called mom or anything. But
I wasn't allowed
Debbie
to brush
called
her hair.
me. Debbie called me to try to get me to turn my back on Denny and Amanda. Okay. And as much as I wanted to, damn it, I didn't because I saw through their bullshit. I saw through their games.
I love that sound effect.
You're ridiculous.
That's one of my new faves.
So
I'm not saying you are.
no, but that was a good
I know
turning
you're
point
not Debbie,
because
her
we
mother.
weren't.
Oh yeah, no, we're not confused on that. Don't
No.
be silly.
Yeah, we know who she is.
Yeah.
But because we didn't allow anybody to infiltrate what we had, our daughter has never been able to leave our house and go to you guys and say, "Well, mommy lets me." Nope, that's a quick phone call. How many times do I call you in a week, Amanda?
Uh-huh.
Right.
Um,
And the point is, we hope eventually they can get there. But we have to get through this.
And
We-
we're not going to get through this as long as accusations that are
false.
false and made
Yeah.
with lies and not based in reality keep happening. They're never going to get to a civil point that is best for the kids.
Mhm.
if this is the way they want to approach it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, notice we're saying they. We're not laying the blame at one specific place. We're laying a lot of it at a specific place. We're
Mhm.
laying a lot of the bigger accusations and lies, but
It's
they're
the
not.
accusations.
because
that
It's not.
matter.
It's not.
I really think that Brayden could do this. He wants what we all have.
And
Of
I
course
think
he
that,
does.
and I
that's
think
what
that's why
gets
he's
him in
making the
trouble.
stupid decisions.
Yeah.
Because he
because
thinks
he
that
thinks
they
he can
get to
manage
that
it like
point.
this.
Exactly. But you can't when
When one person isn't willing to play by the same set of rules.
So
Well-
let's go to ruddersandsleeth.com. You guys know I got to do this. Those of you that listen, right? So I go and I try and find things that coincide with what we're talking about and why people make false domestic abuse claims in divorce. So these are just random reasons. All right. So number one on the list, give it to us, Amanda.
A tool for revenge.
Making false accusations of domestic violence during a divorce is a common tactic used by some people in an attempt to gain the upper hand in the proceedings. I feel like that's a piece of what's going on here.
100%.
that is a big piece. It's a big piece for a lot of women
Mm-hmm.
and men. I
Well,
don't know how many men
Nah,
do
it's
it.
mostly for women.
Yeah.
well, I don't know. I think men can claim many different forms of abuse, right? Emotional abuse.
I think men aren't taken as serious.
Yeah,
That's
Nikki
what
is
I mean.
right.
That's
Win
what we're
custody
facing.
and more child support.
Mhm.
That's what we're facing now. Is we've witnessed the abuse for 7 years, and she just has to say that she was abused, and everyone's jumping on her bandwagon of course you were, and nobody wants to understand or see that it was really the other way around. And in fact, the abuse is still being continued through the children today. That's why we're in this position that
You know, I know that
we are.
I said it before, but I'm going to say it again. You know, your kids come first, always. And you never want to hurt your kids' feelings, right?
right.
You never want to damage how
you
they
never
feel.
want your children to feel your personal struggles.
Exactly.
No matter what they are.
That day Brayden left, she turned around to her children and said, Daddy does not want to be your best friend anymore.
And let's be honest, because there are a lot of people out there, not just here, but anywhere. Are you a little emotional over there?
I'm shaking.
Yeah, Amanda's
So-
pissed.
So there are a lot of people out there that talk about, well, if somebody just didn't want to be in a relationship, why couldn't they just be man enough? And I can tell you, I was proud of how Brayden handled
100%.
because he came to me and he said, Dad, I
finally-
think I'm going to do it.
I finally have
And
made my choice.
and I said, all right, before you make that type of decision, you need to think about it.
Yep.
We'll support you whichever way you go,
Mm-hmm.
but you're going to have to think about it. And his response was, no, I've thought about it. I think can I stay at your house if I do it? And I'm like, well, of course you can. You're my son. You know, I'll protect you always. But he said at that time, you know, I've made my decision. So I asked him the follow-up question. How are you sure that it's now? And he said, I'm tired of being told that she hates me. And, you know, that resonated with me. He didn't talk about all of the things that,
the
you know,
fighting,
they've been
the
through,
cheating, all of it.
that she's tried to alienate the relationship with us. Like he didn't mention any of that.
Mm-mm.
What he said was, she always she's constantly telling me she hates me.
Mm-hmm.
And so he made his decision based off of that. And he made sure the kids were taken care of at her parents' house.
No, let's.
And then he,
I want to touch on that
okay.
because we want to talk about who was abused, who wasn't abused. Anytime you have someone who is in an abusive relationship and they are the victim in that relationship, they have to have a plan for getting out. And the three of us spent hours with Brayden on how are we going to get you out safely? How are we going to get you out without getting law enforcement or anybody else involved?
Yeah.
How are we going to get you out with the kids not seeing any of the fallout or knowing what's going on? How are the kids not going to see anything that comes afterwards? Where are they going to be safest? We had to check all of those boxes and came up with a plan that took about a month to
Mhm.
execute.
Mhm.
in
A-
order to safely get him out.
And did we not go through? They can't. The kids can't come to our house because then she's going. Then she's going to freak out because the kids aren't with her,
Right.
and it's going to cause bigger issues
And that's
because
why he
we
chose
didn't
her
want the kids to
parents.
see any fighting. That's why we all of us came together and said the best place for the boys would be to go to her parents, where she can go there and be with them, and they're not going to see any of the fighting between you two. And what she did was she picked them up and brought them to our house and then left them in the car while she begged on our door for
An hour.
an hour or longer until we had to have the
And
police
when he
remove her.
finally
And
came
yes,
out
I
there,
did have the police come then, so I did call the police at that time because I didn't. I knew we weren't getting those boys out of the car
Mhm.
safely. Like, and I didn't want. I sent Braden away because he was very emotional. I mean, he was crushed, and so I sent Braden away. I wouldn't let him to the door, and I knew
We had to
couldn't
hide our
go
kids
out.
in the back of the house so they didn't hear her screaming.
And I knew we weren't going to get the kids out. So it was my plan. Hey, we're just going to have to call the sheriff's department.
She wouldn't leave. She
because
wouldn't
they
come
were-
down. That
and
was the only way.
and I didn't want her driving off with Jet and Mav in the car
When she was that upset.
when she was that upset.
She shouldn't have been
She
allowed to
should not have
drive with
had
them
the
in
kids.
the first place.
She should not have had those boys.
She was
at
threatening to
that time.
drive off a bridge, and you
Mhm.
gave her her kids, for the love of God.
Meaning her
Any-
mom and dad. gave the
anyway.
kids, yeah.
she got here, and she hurt her kids' feelings. That was my whole thing.
No.
It was disgusting.
Yeah.
Well, I
It's
mean,
disgusting.
that's one of many times.
Well, yes, but people don't realize that it's a constant. You're constantly hurting your kids in situations like this when you can't put your feelings aside.
Mhm.
To,
So here's the other piece.
Oh,
Child custody.
we were
Here's
on your
another
webpage.
reason.
I forgot.
One of the reason people make false claims of domestic violence is to during child custody battles is because they want to get a leg up in court. Look, everybody knows two parents both are going to want the kids, right?
Yeah,
And
sometimes.
there's an idea sometimes that they want the child support, and I'm not saying that's what's going on here, but there is definitely
the shoe fits.
there is a little bit of an issue there that
There's a pattern being established for
Right.
sure.
So child custody and advantage in court. I think it goes right along with a tool for revenge.
Mhm.
But who doesn't think when Braden told me about the initial encounter, I told him, I said, well, you just made yourself an uphill battle, son. You should have just let her have the kids
Mhm.
and let it go. And, but he was like, Dad, it's my car. And she wouldn't leave it alone. And I get it.
And she was trying to break into it.
I get it. She was coaching the kids on, do this and do that and undo yourself out of the seat.
And unlocked Daddy's
should-
door.
He should have just let it go. And that was my advice to him.
But you
And I
know
think if
when
he had to do it over again,
he would,
that's what he would do.
but when you are in a moment like that,
Sure.
And it's your kids.
it's fight or flight for your children.
Well, he knew she was okay. He knew that they weren't, he didn't need to protect them necessarily from her.
No,
It
but
just
it's
came
your
down
own
to
fight
who's
or
right
flight.
and wrong.
Yeah,
Right?
it's
It's my day. It was stupid that she was there. It was
Mhm.
stupid that he had to fight. And once he realized that she wasn't going to give up, he should have washed his hands of it and said, all right, I'll pick him up later. That's my opinion.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
mind you, after the entire incident, he drove away, and she texted him 30 minutes later and said,
You can
Would
pick them
you-
up later.
"No, would you like to try again?"
Would
yeah.
you like to try again? They were already in my car. Would you like to try again?
They're already in my car. Would you like to try again, even though I'm going to get you for domestic violence?
Well, I don't think she had made that decision yet.
No, but that's my point.
Yeah.
That's my fucking point. If you don't, why are you making?
Why are you mad at me?
Well, because I'm always mad at you. Why are you?
You
making,
shouldn't be mad at me.
Why
right
are you
now.
making those decisions when you really aren't in fear for your life? You give these. Never mind. I hate you, Denny.
Why do people make false accusations for jealous motivation?
So I think that's one that luckily we haven't had to deal with in this situation.
What do you mean?
So jealous. They're jealous that that person's moving on. They're jealous because that person doesn't want to be with them anymore. So
yes,
they're making all these lies and all these things. They're saying stuff that isn't necessarily true just because their
Okay,
feelings
they're
are
afraid
hurt.
somebody might be
Mhm.
seeing someone else, like it
Yeah.
says there.
Alfred said Alf. I don't know. I'm
Why
sorry.
did you call
Alfred.
it?
Well, because I'm reading
Jiminy
it.
Christmas, like you
Says-
don't know
Yeah,
Alf.
I haven't
It's
looked at
very
it.
unfortunate that real victims of DV suffer lack of support and justice because of
What?
precedents.
Precedents that are
You
set
have
forth
to,
from
Alf,
false
don't use
testimony.
such big words with Jams.
Yeah.
Can
Well,
you tone them
because
down a little
people-
bit?
People.
Not like George Bush.
There we go. It's up there.
Presidents.
Precedents.
Precedents.
There
That's
you
what
go.
I said, fucker.
That's exactly it, John.
Hey.
Sorry.
John's so John's sharing his story with us. My mom got full custody. She never said a bad word about my dad and told us you can see your dad whenever you want. All I ever heard from my dad on the times I'd go visit was how bad my mom was and made me feel like I never wanted to go there because it hurt to hear bad things that I knew were not true about my mom. My mom was always supportive and encouraged a relationship with my dad even when I didn't want one. Point is, as parents, you should always be
Did you lose it? Sorry.
supportive of the relationship with the other. And that's 100% right.
So
When the boys didn't want to go back to their mom's house, his answer was, it's time with your mom.
I
And
think
you'll
he got
respect
on
your
him a
mom.
little bit.
here's the thing. I always, and matter of fact, I'm going to change something up here just a little bit. When I was raising Braden and Garrett, after I had split with their mother, I was very, very, very strict on them about how they were to address her.
Mm-hmm.
She is your mother.
And
you
I
will
never
respect her.
talk shit about her to them. And my second ex-wife, Tracy, can attest. And it's actually funny because both of those boys have heard differently. And they've asked Tracy, my ex-wife, really, I cheated on her with that one. So this one right here. And so you wouldn't think she would have anything necessarily nice to say about me.
It's me.
And she said immediately, no, that's not true. Your dad was always telling you to treat her with respect
And see, this
and
just
be
goes
proud
to show.
of her. But then look at this. And this is something that has really sickened me for a while. Look at the first name on the like
Oh.
right here.
Yeah. Well, go ahead and click on that.
On what?
Just click.
Mm-hmm.
And she laughed.
Yeah. This
She
is her
laughs.
older brother.
This is Braden's younger sister. Yeah.
That's
Morgan is Braden's
Younger
15,
sister.
16-year-old
17.
sister, 17.
Mhm.
She does babysit Jet and Matt.
She's the one
Mhm.
that Brianna's leaving the boys home with while she goes to work.
right.
at the
And
bar.
she's a very smart girl. She's very intelligent. And,
Mhm.
but, she has somehow decided that
As his.
he's wrong and we don't deserve to give him any credit for anything he's done or anything that they've seen. And I guess if I'm not going to get too crazy, John brought it up, and thank you for bringing it up, John. I love you. I'm frustrated that Braden is going through this. Brianna's got obviously she's got a lot of support. None of them want to talk on air, but
Except
they all
one.
support her.
I don't know where
And
Deb went,
and I
but-
get it. They should
a lot of
support her.
social
They're
media
her
support.
friends and her family. Braden only gets half, and people are using that against him. They are saying it. No, you don't, John. That's impossible. Don't be silly.
We also don't put. We also.
Nakia loved me more, though. That's what she said. John Thornhill, I did the same. I loved Denny more.
I know that's a lie, but we also aren't very Facebooky. We don't put it out there like that. We don't find their pages.
because we don't live our lives on social media and we don't doctor them to look good in pictures.
Do we joke on our podcast? Absolutely, but you don't got to listen to it.
Right. The only time our podcast has been listened to by them is to try and be angry about something.
Yeah, well,
And I've
That's
said it.
okay.
I'm going to say it again. Our podcast is a lot about, what do I call it? Satire. We're very sophomoric. I mean, for the love of God, John, you're going to love this song. Alf, you will too.
Could you please show me
I
her
don't think you
tits
can play that on
again?
Facebook.
I can.
I wasn't quite done looking at
you
them.
can't play the whole thing.
I'd like to get a
too
mental
long.
picture.
It's not too long.
They'll shut us out
No, not now.
because it's not our song, dummy.
I wrote and composed that song.
No, you did not. Don't say that, you dumbass.
I didn't. That is not our music.
This is how we talk to each other.
But it's all satire here, guys. And
This is parents letting loose.
and people are trying to use this platform as like we're doing things on here and we're like coaching Braden to hate his ex-wife, and we're not.
I
We're
promise that
coaching
doesn't mean
him.
coaching.
We do not.
We don't have
she's
to.
doing that on her own.
Yeah.
We do coach him to protect himself against her. We do coach him to not communicate with her. We absolutely do coach that because he shouldn't right now. Again, I'll get back to what we were talking about. Jamie and I couldn't look at her without wanting to punch her in the face. And it's still really there today. But like, it was so, I felt like if she knew one piece of something I wanted, I wasn't going to get it.
Oh, damn. Yeah. Duh.
And
I think I lived my life to know what Denny wanted so that he couldn't have it.
Yeah. and you know what?
But we're honest about it now.
We had the Audrey had cancer. We were at Riley.
Now that you're talking about cancer, can you just go to the one comment real quick so we
Oh,
can
sure.
just speak about that real quick?
Where's it at?
Go to all comments.
Is it right here? Is it in the 25 replies?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yep.
Because it was Lisa
Okay.
and Kokomo in the know, aka Chris Sutton.
Yeah,
Let's see.
It's probably not Chris Sutton. He doesn't. do
Keep going.
that. Okay.
Keep going.
Just tell me when.
Whole lot of me don't mind that.
Oh,
I don't see
No.
him anywhere.
it-
Go back
so
up.
one of them,
Go back up.
What's the person's name that did it?
Kokomo in the know.
It's Lisa Summers, and she tagged Kokomo in the know.
Go to all comments.
Did they get rid of it?
25 replies.
That's where it
Um,
was before.
Oh, I don't know.
14
Anyway,
replies.
so Kokomo in the know says,
Oh, we're probably blocked. I'm probably blocked.
oh, we're all cancer. So let me just say something to you really quick. We're all cancer.
So
On August 24th,
hold
hang on.
Give that context, would you please?
They're going back and forth on Facebook regarding this thing. And Kokomo in the know said their podcast is called Something About Cancer Saved Their Divorce.
Marriage.
Marriage.
That's how they said it.
I used to love that.
But
Thank God cancer saved our marriage. Not the name.
But they said it seems as if they're all cancer. Now let me tell you
Yeah,
something.
it's more like they're all cancer.
It's more like they're all cancer.
Who said it?
Kokomo in the know.
Is it on there right now? You can see it.
Nope, it's been deleted.
But it was there.
Someone realized they said something.
They said
shouldn't
something.
And let me tell you
have.
something. When our daughter was diagnosed with cancer, it was the worst day of our lives for a lot of fucking people.
Mm-hmm.
Not only the worst day of our lives, but we hated each other and it was the worst time in our lives.
Yep.
And we pulled together through that for our daughter. Okay. And fuck you. Okay. I really want to say that because cancer is not a joke. And I really hope I've screenshotted it because the moment you said that, I was sick to my stomach because what we went through for 2.5 years was awful, and cancer sucks. And I really hope that none of you, even though I hate all of you, I really hope none of you or your children have to go through something like that because it is truly the worst thing in the world.
Really is. But I think that goes to speak on now, once again, we'll make light of almost anything, including cancer.
And we did. But
But
that
it's our
comment,
story to tell.
That comment,
When it's said out of
Mm.
when it's said out of hatred, then it's much different. And when it's said out of anger instead of satire, it's words are weapons when you turn them into weapons. I've always said, my kids, you're not going to hurt my kids' feelings because I've already done it. And I'll continue
and if
to
you
do
said
it.
something to Audrey about her being cancer or having cancer, she'd probably flip you off and say, yeah, but I beat it,
I've got the picture to prove it.
you know? And that's kind of why I didn't say
Still
anything
mad.
back to that comment because I knew Audrey would just look at him and go,
Yeah, she doesn't
yeah, but I
care.
beat it,
Yeah.
you know?
She doesn't care.
And so that's why I didn't say anything. But I just want everybody to understand the people that they're actually following and I don't know, rooting for, that are okay with saying something that awful.
I'm an hour and 19 minutes and 30 seconds in on the broadcast.
What's that
And
mean?
these big shots haven't shown up. One did.
No.
One. And Deb,
And
seriously, thank
Deb,
you
she came in.
for. I
I
mean,
do
thank you. I think
appreciate
you're
that.
wrong, but thank you.
Hey, you're allowed to disagree with us.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
You're
A
allowed.
lot of people do.
But if you come on our show, if just like when you're bound to be in the minority when you come against us on our podcast.
On our
Oh, here
show.
I
And-
do have it. I do have it screenshotted.
Good,
show
because it's
right there.
100% deleted.
It's been deleted, but it was said.
Let's see.
Let me see if I can see that a little better.
Oh, hang on.
Can you do anything right?
Shut the.
Yeah, I can't see it.
Oh, don't do that. You guys about found out more about Jamie than you ever wanted to know. Just read it.
Okay. It says
You're right, Nikia.
cancer saved their marriage or something like that. Seems like they all are a cancer. And then she says, I couldn't agree more.
Lisa.
That is really
Lisa, do better. Do better, honey.
It's not.
You're better than that.
Oh, there you go.
That's
Cancer
a good
saved
shot
their
at it.
marriage or something like that. Seems like they are all cancer.
Cancer did not save our marriage. That's what people used to say in the beginning. Can you start listening to us more?
yeah, God.
Yeah, you say you've listened.
You
Jesus,
have
pay
to turn
attention.
you got to turn the camera. That ugly man from your family is getting some
There's-
attention.
Anyway, so
Anyway, so let's let me get off of this one.
Are we done
And-
with our website? Is that all you wanted us to
Well,
go
that's all
over?
we're going to talk about on that one. I do want
Well-
to touch on one other. What, Jams?
oh, I thought you were trying to be done because you blah, blah, blah.
Four things to know about.
So here, these are 4 things to know about. 4 things. This is dadsdivorce.com. What a great place. Cordell and Cordell. Have you guys heard of them? They're the ones that come on like Q95 and they're like, we've been in the business for 30 years of
Yes.
taking care of dads. You want someone in your corner. First message,
Where the fuck
know
are they?
your social media. We've been helping dads for over 3,000
What the hell is
years.
happening right now? I don't like
He's
it.
trying to repeat a
I'm trying to do
commercial
their-
very
Like I'm
very
trying to
poorly.
get in my deep voice.
Your radio voice.
I need my Barry White. Are we gonna get kicked off for this song too?
Yes.
Probably.
All right,
Oh.
fine. Do you have to make so
anytime
much noise?
anytime it's not your music.
Oh, please tell me more about it.
Shut the oh, this is why we're
Anyway,
divorced.
can you read about
4 things to know about false allegations of divorce. Here we go.
of abuse?
It
That's
takes
not what it is.
minimal evidence to obtain a protection order.
Wow.
Alf, I think you get the
Cha-ching.
I think you win the prize on that because I think that's exactly what you've said.
All it takes is they need to tell the judge that it's necessary.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Which, in cases where
But
it's
then-
necessary, I agree with that law, because if someone says, "I need protection, I need help," they should be able to
have
get
it.
it.
But
when it's being abused like this, it's fucking incredible.
but here's the thing.
that it
Why
can
is
happen.
there a pretrial probation? Why is I
Yeah,
mean
that's stupid.
Mike is right. Was it Mike that said you're guilty until
Yes,
proven
it was Mike.
innocent?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
It was Mike. Mike's been an avid follower too, by the way. Thank you, Alf. Thank
Since
you, Mike.
this is done, this is an important part. Since this is done ex parte, the defendant doesn't get the chance to defend him or herself. Most judges don't want to be on the wrong end of denying a request and having an ensuing tragedy occur, will grant the request even if the accused has no history of violence, or if the evidence that's being presented is shaky. They're going to err on the side of caution, and they should. But at what point do we say, if the defendant has clear evidence, how can he not be able to present that to get it dropped after?
We'll talk
the fact?
Right
about that.
away.
Yeah. So I guess we can talk about this for a second. Give us some thoughts on that. I mean, obviously she didn't have the goods, or it would have been out there already, right? Everybody's promised to deliver,
Promise screenshots,
deliver.
promise videos.
Just like Nikia is saying, it's out there, it's out there, it's out there. And yeah, now, like I said, Deb was willing to share some text messages.
But didn't.
Well, I can also tell you, it's not going to look favorable for either one of them because they
No.
both talk to each other like idiots.
Shit.
Yeah.
So like there's nothing, it's indefensible the shit they say to one another, both sides, or did.
Yeah.
So,
All it looks like is both don't want to have a good co-parenting relationship.
but I mean, again,
But
it's
all
early.
we're trying to establish, people are going to fight in this stage. I mean, we're a year in. This is a year ago is when he left her.
There go 2 days on his
And
brother's birthday.
we're a year into this fight, and they have yet to actually get before a judge with any sort of evidence other than a temporary order that they agreed upon.
Right.
Mhm.
And that was the last one of those was done in April, I think.
Yeah.
April of last year.
And that's the problem.
So this dad's divorce says that what's it called up here? The
Four
false
things to know
allegations of
about false
abuse.
allegations of
It's the
abuse.
nuclear weapon of divorce.
I
Because of the
believe that.
devastating effect that they can have on the case, even if the allegations are later proven of false.
Mhm.
Just being able to say it and have a pending charge against you is enough, and that's what they're saying.
It could cost someone their job.
Yeah.
Braden could lose his job
Yeah.
over this.
And
right?
then you know what she's going to bitch about next? He
She
doesn't
can't-
take
he
care of
doesn't
his
get
kids.
child
He
support.
doesn't get child support.
Right. And would you like to let me know when you're done?
You don't get to yell at people. You were making more noise over
I
there.
made one sound.
No.
One sound.
It doesn't
Whole
matter.
bunch. You were mad. You didn't hear the rest of them.
She wasn't
I
talking.
am very angry right now. I suggest you don't be pushing buttons over there.
You're
Sorry.
going to get
That was-
stabbed
that
in
was a
the
slip.
eye.
So, nuclear weapon of divorce.
Hopefully, it's clearer to read than what we can see.
And
is.
who loses in nuclear fallout?
The kids.
The kids.
Everybody is the right answer.
Well,
people.
Yeah.
Mainly
For
the
love of
children.
God. It's everybody. Everybody loses when it comes to that. It's sickening, but
Because there is such a low standard of proof in a domestic abuse hearing, agreeing to a restraining order is often considered an attractive option since it at least allows the defendant to continue fighting for custody. So they have to choose between looking guilty or seeing their children. That's
Yep.
not a choice anybody should have to
God,
make,
no, it's
especially
not.
if they are not guilty.
no. Even false allegations have a long-lasting impact.
Yeah, it's like I said. Anytime you Google Braden's name now, guess what's going to pop up?
Yep.
One of the more unfair aspects of false abuse allegations is the fact that it doesn't necessarily matter if the claims are eventually proven
Erroneous.
not true. The stigma still follows the accused. Even if the charges are found to be completely groundless, temporary orders can still show up on the criminal background checks and hinder future employment opportunities.
Or anything. I think about now to even go have lunch with your kid, you have to have a criminal background check.
Yeah, at the school.
Yeah.
You absolutely
to
do.
go see your kids at school
Well,
at a
I
public
mean,
school.
Or
Because-
on a field trip with any of them.
Because of all this, Braden can no longer carry his firearm.
Nope.
Mhm.
So, I mean, just think about that. His basic rights as a United States citizen have been reduced.
Because of
And
an
that's real.
allegation.
That's real. So it's crazy. I hate it. But it's where we are. It's where we are. So let's just recap what we've talked about here today. First off,
Boy.
thank you for everyone that has stuck with us
Mhm.
throughout. I'm
And
sure we'll have a
listen to our
lot more people
nonsense.
listening. I'm sure we didn't give anyone enough time to work on their schedules so they could be on the show. So we could counterpoint. I'm in the next hour. We'll probably blow up with things that we didn't talk about.
Mhm.
So thank you for all of you that came on to support it. It's probably a little different.
Can I
when
do
you-
what Audrey does? Like this video, give it a big thumbs up and share it.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Remember when she used to do that?
Oh yeah. Like, share,
Oh, thank you, John.
subscribe.
He said you three rock, but what you meant is
Two of us.
Amanda
John.
and
Jamie
I.
John, two of us.
Amanda and I.
Two of us, John.
Yeah, I know. Two of us. Amanda and I.
John, I am still your boss.
Well, that was rude. Throw the boss card out there. Shit.
That's
Are
to
you
happen
going to
sometimes.
finish recapping? Can you
I can't
stay
remember
focused?
now. I'm focusing on John because he said nice things about me.
Not nice thing about Amanda and I. God, what are you?
We're recapping.
Well, the recap is right now, and in the beginning of this podcast, I fought back tears,
Uh-huh.
and
You're
I
crying.
thought I
would-
was going to have to save you.
Cry,
for a
baby.
second, it was coming because here's the thing:
When Braden sees this, I want him to know that I'm on his mic.
Braden always looks to his old dad for support and advice, and he listens to me about 60% of the time.
He takes what you have and then he puts
His own
the
spin on
Braden
it.
effect on
Yes.
it. And
He says,
Jesus,
"Well, I'm a
please
man."
stop.
And it's not as good as the
Since
Denny
I'm a
effect,
man, I've got to
unfortunately.
do
No.
this.
It hasn't been honed in.
But I will tell you, I had reservations about Braden turning himself in on a Friday at 5:30 or 6
I
o'clock,
did
whatever
too.
When he
time
got
it
off
was.
work.
But he had worked it out.
he
He was
wanted-
sure that he was right,
He wanted the kids.
and he was going to.
wanted to
He
see the
wanted to get
boys.
those kids. He didn't because he felt like she was not going to let him have his kids. If
She
if-
told him she wasn't going. He wasn't going. to.
She
Right.
texted right after the warrant came out.
and started talking about changing it. So, in an effort to make sure he got his kids, he went and turned himself in. And after we were given some erroneous information, we found out that he's going to have to sit there for a few days, and
And it's not okay.
it's not okay. And there's a man that's lost his dignity
Mm-hmm.
that is in a jail right now with actual abusers,
You
with
know,
actual
in
rapists,
Kokomo, they just picked up.
pedophiles.
They just picked up the man they believe murdered his wife.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's
Yeah.
in jail with him right now.
And for what? For sport. That's what this
Yeah.
is, for sport.
It's exactly what this is.
So that's why I'm upset. You know what? I've been able to watch one Super Bowl with him for the last 6 or 7 years
and why is
and-
that?
because he was in the military,
Oh.
and when he came back, he was isolated,
Mhm.
and I was the devil.
Coming over here started fights.
Mhm.
Right.
Being around his family started fights.
So I was upset. I am upset. And I love my son. I love him very much. I do not think that everything he does is right. But is he abusive?
No.
No. Will I say that to anybody that'll listen? Yes. And I will defend him to the end, especially when he was right. And the only reason we're doing this is because I didn't want anyone to be able to say, well, where are they at?
Yeah.
If they think he's so innocent, where are they at?
No, they
Because-
tried saying that.
We're right here typing all the shit that we want to on Facebook. So this is us. We came on Facebook. We came live. And
We
I'm
came
willing
to
to do
you.
it again. I'll do it again. I'll have you
I'll-
in the
we'll
basement.
do it every freaking week.
You can come in the basement and sit right here in his spot
We
until
got
he
a
gets
spot
back.
for you. It's not weird.
No.
I
It's
will
kinda
I will
nice
make
down here.
sure. But guys,
Too close.
let's just
Do
let's
better.
all remember one thing,
Do
everyone.
better.
We are innocent until proven guilty. And I promise you, when he is proven innocent, because we will not plea,
We are going Facebook Live.
we are going Facebook Live. We're going to give it as much attention as this nonsense busted rubber Howard County does.
busted rubber.
That's what they are. And we'll go from there.
Your
I
mama.
love my son. I'm sorry he's not here. And this was avoidable,
Mm-hmm.
but here we are. Jamie, give us a final thought and get us out of here.
Do better, people. Just do better. If you're not going to be with your significant other anymore, then cut ties. Let it go. Just be a better person. It's not hard.
Don't weaponize your children.
Don't hurt your children's feelings because you want to hurt the other person. It's just stupid. Just be better.
Amanda, give us a final thought.
I don't have many final thoughts.
You don't have many.
Amanda
final
wants
thoughts?
to
Yeah, she wants to climb
break
through and just start
everything.
finding people.
No, I
Thanks,
am.
Jennifer.
Thank you, Jen.
You go to the end of the earth to protect your kids, and anybody that doesn't do that is a piece of shit parent. We've said it time and time again. So if you're not,
Free Braden.
if you're not defending your child, if you're not standing in their corner, there is something wrong with you.
Yep.
And I hope you hear me. I hope you know I'm talking directly to you. And We are in his corner, right, wrong. He wasn't a good husband. They weren't good together. That doesn't mean he's a bad person.
Thank you, Heather.
It doesn't
Thank
mean
you.
he's a bad father. And none of this is going to get any of the four of them to the other side where they can live happy, healthy lives.
Absolutely.
Well,
And the
but this-
nonsense needs to
But
stop.
this will get us to where he will know that while he was in there, we were still fighting the
We
good
supported
fight,
him.
and that will never change.
Mm-mm.
But I'll tell you this: if he was wrong, I
I'm
will
beat his
tell him.
ass.
I will tell him, and I have told him. So I'll give you my final thought. We're all going to love Braden. If we get kicked off of Facebook now, it's
Mhm.
okay because it's the end. So here we go. Sing along. Hey, Peckerhead, maybe you should try a bit harder. Cause you've got shit for brains.
I bet in this life
You won't get much smarter.
This is our song for Braden.
You got shit for brains. That's Braden's intro song. And that's
We miss you. It's going to be locked up. They won't let me out.
God.
Jamie has been obsessed with trying to play that. when
We
you
had to
come
listen
back.
to it for 20 minutes before the show started today.
Just her version of singing
and,
it.
and she just kept singing it. So on my way out, thank you all for supporting
Thank
us.
you
Yes,
all.
thank you
You
for
guys all came out big and listened to our family drama.
Never mind. I thought I was muted.
no.
I'm like, have
I've
I
been
been
talking
muted
this whole time and you
time?
can't hear anything I'm saying.
Thank
God,
you
if I could only figure that out.
for everyone that came out and
Yes.
supported us. It's really good to see because we're not on social media a lot. That's not
Mm-mm.
we don't fight our fights there. And
I did the last time.
A little bit.
and it's infuriating
Mhm.
and there's really no winner in that.
no.
No.
So I wanted to give everybody a chance to talk. I did this on the last time. I offered it. Nobody took me up. I brought it out this time. I'll
one
do it
person
again.
did. One person did. We will do it again. We'll do it every week until you really want to face it.
However much they want to. We're in. Until then,
Bye,
head
guys.
over to Thank God Cancer Saved Our Divorce. There'll be more about us over there. Wait a minute. I talked to Chico. He said free Braden. And Chico still lives.
Y'all crazy bitch. You gotta fight.
Didn't get enough of us this week, did you? Jamie, where can they email us?
Oh, you can email us at tgcsod@gmail.com.
Social media?
You can find us on Facebook. Thank God Cancer Saved Our Divorce.
Come on, there's a couple more.
Instagram at TGCSOD and Twitter at TGCSOD.
There it is, folks. Track us down.